that Robert Johnson was my main man. I mean, from the day we met, that's probably what we talked about. And it was his sort of instigation that made me do Rambling. We just went into the studio for a day, literally, and played the songs that we did on stage with a couple of the songs that John had written specially for the occasion, but there was very little rehearsal. And when we got to the end of it, he said, you ought to do Rambling. I said, well, I've never done it, you know. I knew the song from listening to it, but we did a version of that, and that was the first time I ever did it, Robert Johnson's.
Was that also the first time you ever sang and recorded your voice?
No, it wasn't. It was the first time I sang solo. I sang with the Yardbirds, and it was in background. I didn't really sing lead stuff too much.
How did you feel about the lead stuff that you did?
I didn't think I was any. I mean, I still don't. I don't really think of myself as a singer, you know, and I have to work really hard to pitch properly.
I heard that when you recorded Rambling, like, you were like concerned about your voice. So
yeah.
There was nobody else in the studio, and it was just an overdone that you wanted to try alone.
I think that's right, yeah. I think they all had to go, and they had to turn all the lights out, all of that usual stuff.
And I saw you at the Hollywood Bowl the other day, you're singing in front of thousands of people. How did that happen? What is that? Well,
that's about a 30-year period of adjustment. It took a long time. I mean, from John Mayall I went to Cream, and I went to Cream with the assumption that I was going to be the lead singer. But when the chips were down, I wasn't a singer, really. I still wasn't a singer. It took me about another 4 years to really commit to the idea that I had to start singing, and that if I was going to be free to be a musician, I needed to start singing. But then, funnily enough, in contradiction to all this, when I started playing the guitar in purely social occasions, like in a pub, like this, with an acoustic guitar, I would sing. And I wasn't really self-conscious about it, because in pubs and places like that, people ignore you anyway. If you start to sing, they'll listen for a minute, and then they're going to go and carry on their conversation. So you can get by doing that stuff in those kind of situations without being criticised or noticed too much. It's actually easy. So in a way, I had already laid out my stall from day one. When I got into professional situations, I would shrink from it. Yeah. There? Oh, okay, ready? Okay. I got rabbit on my mind. I got rabbit on my mind. Hate to leave you here, babe, but you treat me so unkind. I got me things all on my mind. I got me things all on my mind. Hate to leave my baby, you treat me so unkind. I'm going down to the station, catch that fast train I see. I'm going down to the station, catch that fast train I see. Got the blues about me so-and-so, and the sun got the blues about me. I'm leaving this morning, my heart full up behind. Lord, I'm leaving this morning, with my heart full up and crying. Hate to leave my baby, but you treat me so unkind. I got me things, I got me things on my mind. Little girl, I got me things on my mind. Hate to leave my baby, but you treat me so unkind.
How technically proficient was Robert Johnson?
When I first heard him, I think Keith Richards said this too, that we all thought he was being accompanied by someone. It sounded like, it wasn't unusual in those days. We often had a piano player and a guitar player, or two guitar players. And it wasn't until later that I realised you could do it, what he does, but you have to really, I've had to work really hard in the last few days to try and do some of the things that I needed to do to play alone. And my take on Robert Johnson so far is that it needs two people to play what he plays and sing at the same time. And on top of what I'm describing, he had a completely freestyle approach to any kind of structure too, so that, you know, if it was given that it was a 12-bar structure he was working in, on some, you know, on one verse it would maybe 13 or 14. He would just extend parts or shorten them according to how he felt, or, you know, what he needed to do next. And that makes it really difficult to impersonate, because if you're going to emulate this stuff, you kind of reach a point where you think, well, shall I do an approximation, or is it necessary to really sit down and completely copy it? And I think to do that would be a life's work. I mean, seriously, would be a life's work for any musician. There's really one thing, the thing that he does is that there's a style that he plays where he